Okay, in this video we're going to look at the color palette, or a potential color palette that we'll be using, and we'll talk a little bit about shading as well. In fact, we can start off by just looking at this character in silhouette and thinking about just the kind of regions of them and how they're going to be shaded. So consider this. Let me break this apart. Alright, I just had it as a symbol before, and let's cut them right down the middle. Okay. So we've got a light side and a darker side, which we should probably change the background color if we're going to do that. Let's go with a kind of a murkier sky color. Okay. And we'll make this a little bit darker. Okay, so our light source, just looking at this, would mean that somewhere over here, we don't know if it's up top, coming from down this way and going up. It doesn't really even matter that much. All right, and now let's take some lines and just kind of go through and split up the light half. Like so. So now you should be able to select this and this separately. So let's make them a little bit darker as well. Get rid of that. And then let's do something similar over here. And since this leg is actually in the back over here, this might be one to kind of split right about over this way and make even darker. And remember, we're gonna these are not the actual colors I would use. In fact, I might leave that as the darkest color. It's just that I want to give you guys an idea of how you can kind of approach thinking about the color palette and what colors are going to go where. So we'll just use grayscale for now. And for some reason, I'm still able to select this as one piece. So that means I didn't connect these lines. And I think I see it's this one right here. So now maybe, nope. It's okay, here we go. Got to be a little bit more careful next time. Still, one of them is not connected. And I probably should have just gone through and used the pen tool there, but that's okay. Okay, so let me sample that color, and what I kind of want is something, let's see, oh yeah, there we go. A little darker there, and then that color would be darker, but I want to avoid doing anything with kind of pure black until we get into sort of our final shading for this. Okay, so just looking at this right now, I think what we have is too much contrast. All right, and let's take this color. I'm just going to sample it, and if you have the color mixer, that's one of your options over here, color. Okay, you can then start stepping back on it like this by just pulling the where you get the little B there, just slide back and forth. And what did we start with there? Okay, so we're gonna make this a little bit lighter and make this a lot lighter, and we have that little bit that I forgot to grab before, something like that. And for the white part, I think this is almost kind of blowing our eyeballs out. It's a little too light. Okay. And then if you want to just kind of get rid of that that straight line right there, you could kind of play with this. Like so. And maybe make that a little darker. Let's see. So you got something like this. So we had our sort of primary split down the middle, right? Light, dark. And then within that, we also kind of cut it in half. And by doing that, we established that our light source is up this way, and which makes sense. That's the sun. If this were some big giant robot outside, not inside an auditorium or something like that, your light source is going to be up here. Okay, so it's casting light down this way, right? And so we get these kind of hemispheres, I guess, of shading, and that's almost just something to consider right now. Okay, it's again, we're going to be building all these different components for this thing from scratch, and kind of maybe loosely tacking them onto this. But if we can, kind of use that to go back to later and think, oh, did we conform to that that shading that we set up? So I'm just going to hit F8 on this. I'll just call this kind of loosely shaded, or loosely lit would maybe be the better term for this symbol. And that way we've got it in the library as well. Now the thing to consider is actually setting up a color palette here, and I think yellow always looks fun in robots like this, and we'll just go ahead and pick this bright color right here, and I will make a square like so, and just kind of start off over here to the side, and then do a few more of them. In fact, it probably just makes sense to start making them less and less bright. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that down by 10%, copy this, take this down by 10%, and actually as I do this, let me go back and sample this one. I'm going to sample that, and I'm going to go over here to add swatch, and now I've got it in the library. Right, I don't know why I actually have two of those right there. Let's try sampling this one again. Okay, I thought, wait, are they magically appearing in there? Alright, so a little unclear why I ended up getting two, but let's select this one now, and actually make sure I sample it, and then go over here to the color panel, go to add swatch, and that one should be right there. Okay, and let's just keep doing this. So I'll copy this, take this down to 70%. So we're just going in increments of 10, add the swatch, 60%, add swatch. Might have to make these a little smaller, otherwise they'll collide with our robot. Again, just double checking. Oh, look at that. How beautiful is it? We've got all of our colors, at least our colors for the exoskeleton set up over there. Did I actually make this one less than? I don't think I did. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and do one that is 15%. Add swatch, and that's probably about as close to pure black as I'll go with this. Because again, I might, who knows, we might not ever use this one right here, but or any of these, they might not get used. But I want to be able to have kind of at least 15% of brightness difference between my my most dark shaded color and our pure black. Okay, and the reason for that is it's kind of in reserve for certain components that I really want to make pure black. All right, seen as dark as possible. Okay, so there we go. We've got kind of one lineup of colors right here. And you could do that same thing with just a grayscale in general. I'm going to sample another kind of metallic color, this green, and it kind of looks a bit like some of the yellow, but I think this is a good color for certain metallic parts. So let's assume the yellow is going to be for kind of the outer shell of this robot, you know, chest plates, shoulder plates, and things like that. And then we could have another color scheme for parts that are supposed to look fairly metallic. Again, I don't want to just resort to using the grayscale there. So let's go ahead and start with this as kind of the darkest metallic color. And yet again, we will go and add swatch. Let's see, where's that going to add it at? It would be nice if you could just kind of move all these things around inside of here, kind of arrange them how you want. And then, so let's see, I'll do that same thing down here. So we'll take this down. Maybe I'll go in, because we're starting at 50% brightness there. I'll make some increments that are less than 10%. So we'll add the swatch. Do like 38. 31. Okay, and again, I don't want to get too close to black. Okay, and just so that you guys don't get too bored of watching me create color palettes, what I'm going to do is just paste in a few more that I think will be useful. This would be sort of a copper color, and then I felt a little limited as we were putting in kind of grayscale colors over here. So what I did is I just increased the number of steps we have going from white to this darker gray right here. So this is each about, well, if you just select these, you can see over here about 10%, whereas the default ones are about 20% off from each other. And we could use the white color at times for things like maybe some sort of painted detail on the robot, and same thing with the red too. Just little small things here and there could be fun to add in there. And as you're doing this, don't forget that you've got the swatches panel, not just this one right here, but you've got an actual panel that pops out, which I actually forget about from time to time. You can do this, and you can go through here, select color. So for example, I could select this gradient and I could delete the swatch entirely. I'll leave one gradient in there. I kind of don't really like the other ones that they provide by default. And you can also go and oops, it's getting a little cut off there. You can save these colors as your default scheme, which isn't maybe a bad idea if you've gone to the trouble of adding in more grayscale colors. So I just did that, and I mean, what the heck? Why not? You could always replace it later if you need to. So then as you're creating kind of future documents with this project, at least they all have this same color scheme in here. And I think these yellow steps are nice just to have in there. Same with the copper ones too. So anyway, now that you've got your colors together, I'll leave that open. We can just play around with filling in something, right? In fact, this would be kind of a good one to use as an example. So let's go ahead and break this apart, and we'll start with yellow here and here. Okay, so we got, this is kind of our brightest color right here, and then it would make sense from that point out to go start wrapping it around like so. and it just depends on how bright you want this side to be. So for example, if you wanted to take more steps to get to a darker color at the end of it, you kind of skip, come out that way, right? And we'll do that. So we'll leave these the same. Oops. Alright, time to go remember what the eyedropper hotkey is. Alright, and now let's make this color here the one underneath. Okay, so which means this one will be right here, this one will be right here, and then a darker one from that would be over that way. Same thing. Oops. Oh. Undo that. There we go. Oh, it just doesn't want to. Oh, you know what it is? It grabbed the fill tool. Alright, now we can get rid of our lines, and then for this one at the tippy top, you could always just go with your bright yellow again, or you could, well, I guess that's as bright as that one gets, isn't it? Well, you could just move this around a little then. Do something like that. And it is important that we don't, oh, I made those the same color, that we eventually do get rid of our lines, because for a realistic robot like this, somewhat painterly design, we wouldn't be seeing those lines, would we? They're a little too cartoonish, you know, to leave them in. Oddly enough, I don't know why those are still in there, but this would be a good thing to do, just to give yourself a little bit of reference as you start filling in your parts, to have this kind of virtual octagon type shape, just so you can sort of compare it to, well, something else you might pull out of the library and start shading. So for example, what do we have in here? This like little shoulder piece. Okay, so you might sort of have this thing off to the side where you go, oh, okay, well, this is my reference for planes that are facing whatever direction, you know, like if it's facing sort of this way, ones that are going this way. And obviously it'd be a little bit easier if we were just using an actual 3D program, but we're not. That would just be way too easy. So anyway, I think we've got our initial color palette set up here, and I guess our next step is to use it. So we'll continue onward with the next video.